Remember when Halloween was homemade and magical? This was way before the days of pumpkin spice lattes and store-bought decorations. Come with me back to the 1950s when costumes were stitched by hand, porch lights guided little ghosts through leafy streets, and every treat came with a smile from a neighbor who knew your name. It's a crisp October evening. Fallen leaves crunch under sneakers and saddle shoes as children hurry down sidewalks lined with glowing jack-o'-lanterns. Every porch seems to shimmer in orange and gold, a beacon for costumed kids with paper bag lanterns and pillowcases ready for treasures. I can still remember the smell of autumn in the air. Crisp leaves, a little wood smoke, and the faint scent of something sweet from the kitchen. Halloween was a pretty exciting night when I was a kid back in the 1950s. It always began at school. Our teacher would bring out orange and black construction paper, and we'd spend the afternoon cutting pumpkins, ghosts, and cats. We'd tape them to the classroom windows, the sunlight glowing through the paper like stained glass. The whole room smelled of glue and crayons, and everyone whispered about what they were going to be that night. When I got home, Mom was already decorating. Orange and black crepe paper streamers hung from the ceiling, twisting in the breeze from the open window. Paper pumpkins that folded open like accordions sat on the coffee table. Dad had brought home a big orange pumpkin from the market, and we'd scoop it out on the back porch, saving the seeds to roast later. I can still hear the sound of that metal spoon scraping the inside of the pumpkin, hollow and echoing. Costumes back then were mostly homemade. Some kids had store-bought masks, but Mom always said the best costumes were the ones you made yourself. One year I was a ghost, an old bedsheet with 2 holes cut out for eyes. The next year, I was Davy Crockett, with a cardboard rifle and a coonskin cap I wore for weeks afterward, and my sister dressed as an angel, wearing a white bedsheet decorated with Christmas tinsel. We thought we looked just as good as the movie stars at the picture show. That afternoon, our neighbors threw their annual Halloween party. It wasn't fancy, but to us, it felt like something out of a dream. We bobbed for apples in a metal wash tub, played maypole or scavenger hunt around the yard, and tried to pin the tail on a paper donkey taped to the garage door or a big old tree. When it got dark, someone's dad told ghost stories with a flashlight under his chin, and we screamed and laughed until our sides hurt. And on the kitchen table sat a mountain of treats. Popcorn balls wrapped in wax paper, sugar cookies shaped like bats and pumpkins, and penny candies piled high in glass bowls. The orange frosting on the cookies turned our tongues bright as tangerines. As the sun began to set, we raced home to get ready for trick-or-treating. I remember pulling on my homemade costume and tying a string around my mask so it wouldn't fall off. We used paper bags or pillowcases to collect candy. There were no fancy buckets back then. The younger kids tagged along with their older brothers and sisters. Parents stayed home to hand out treats. Nobody worried about us being out after dark. Porch lights glowed, jack-o'-lanterns flickered, and the neighborhood came alive with little ghosts, cowboys, and princesses darting from house to house. Each home had its own rhythm. A knock, a chorus of trick or treat, and a friendly face at the door. Some folks dropped candy corn or chocolate bars in our bags. Others handed out small coins or candied apples polished to a shine. One year, Mrs. Henderson gave out popcorn balls tied with orange ribbons, and those were gold. We used our flashlights to see where we were going, but mostly to check how our candy stash was growing. By the end of the night, our paper bags were soft from the weight of all those treats. You could hear laughter echoing down the street, and the crunch of leaves under a dozen pairs of sneakers. When we finally trudged home, tired and cold, Mom made us a warm drink to warm us up while Dad inspected our candy for safety, which mostly meant he picked out his favorites and said, "Better let me take care of these chocolate bars." We traded sweets, sorted our loot, and bragged about who got the most. Later, lying in bed, I could still smell the pumpkin candles flickering on the porch. The sound of wind rustling through the trees made me think of all the ghosts we'd pretended to be just hours before. It was a perfect mix of excitement and comfort, a kind of childhood magic that stayed long after the candy was gone. Halloween in the 1950s wasn't about expensive decorations or store-bought costumes. It was about imagination, community, and the thrill of being a kid in a world that felt safe and full of wonder. Those nights might be long gone, but the memories still glow warm as a porch light on a chilly October night. If this story brought back a few sweet memories, I'd love to hear yours. Share your most treasured Halloween moments in the comments. What costumes you wore, what treats you loved, or the traditions your family had back then. And if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, please give the video a like, subscribe to Nostalgia Unfiltered, and help keep these memories alive for generations to come. Because the past is worth remembering.